But since it has not yet been submitted or uploaded on Core Campus, I'm not sure if it's been approved yet because it has to be approved. I'll just update you guys on that one. But as it stands at the moment, this is the assignment that you guys are going to do. And I'm going to give you the exact date on where this assignment is going to be submitted, because it's an individual presentation. So you guys are not going to be typing anything. You are not going to be typing anything on Core Campus. But what you are going to do is that you are going to present at Flume Digital Marketing Agency as an individual for F3. Then once you present, you are going to submit your slides in a Word format on Core Campus. But I shouldn't be the one who is going to allocate marks to you. The person who is going to allocate marks, who is going to assess this assessment, are the digital marketing team at Flume. They are going to assess this presentation based on the industry standards. So it should be between the week of 16 to 22 September, but I'm going to let you guys know the exact date for the presentation. But you should be submitting your e-copy before 22 September on Core Campus. So on the e-copy, that's where you are going to find all the comments there. So as I mentioned, F3 is going to be an individual physical presentation. So you have to be there physically at Flume Digital Marketing Agency. Then your S1, we are going to talk about S1. The S1 is the one that is going to be group work. This one is going to be a physical presentation only for Durban students, are the one who are going to present in the presence of their lecturers. So it will assess your knowledge, understanding, and ability to apply the theory covered within the semester and the last one, and everything that you have done so far. In particular, you will be expected to demonstrate your understanding of attitudes and personality and self-concept. Remember, we did attitudes last semester. We spoke about the ABC model. We spoke about personality and self-concept. And last week's slides, we're talking about market segmentation. And we are also going to talk about market segmentation in the next lecture after this brief. We are going to talk about positioning and consumer decision-making process. All these topics and those that we haven't covered yet. By the time we reach September, you should have covered these topics. So you need to provide and practically apply theory. No marks will be awarded if you only provide theory with no application. So you are not expected to tell me what market segmentation is, for example. You need to show me how you can apply market segmentation to a given scenario in this brief. Am I making sense so far?
Yes, sir, making sense.
Okay, if there's something that you won't understand, please let me know, whether via WhatsApp or during class when we've got physical class, or even now during class when we've got a virtual class or via email. Then you should be able to know that this mark is out of 110, meaning you are going to be assessed out of 100 for the presentation. Then there are additional marks for your conduct as an individual. Remember, in marketing, we deal with more presentation than something that is written on paper. You guys, if you decide to pursue a career in marketing, you are going to spend lots of time presenting your strategy to the board, presenting your strategy to the management. So we need, with this assignment, we are trying to equip you guys to be ready for the industry, to be able to sharpen your spoken skills, how you present, how you conduct yourself, how you even wear, the way you put on your attire. Yes, people think it doesn't matter. It does matter. There are people who would wake up, let's say it's on a Monday or it's on a Friday. You didn't plan for the brief that you need to present to your marketing director or even to the CEO or the company owner. You just wake up from nowhere and you did not bath, the clothes that you wear yesterday and stuff like that. So the way you present yourself in terms of the way you look also matters when it comes to presentation. Your conduct, your voice projection. Are you too loud or are you too low? Are you shy? Do you maintain eye contact with the people that you are engaging with during the presentation? What about the non-verbal communication clues? Are you fidgeting? Do you have a stage fright? Things like that. Are you showing a stage confidence? Are you confident in the things that you are explaining or discussing? So this is the purpose of this assessment. We want to equip you guys with enough training when it comes to express your thoughts in form of a presentation. And I thought it would be nice if you do this individually before you work as a team. So S1 is the one that you guys are going to work as a team. So I'm going to break down all these marks, the 110%, the marks that you guys need to have. This is the marketing challenge that you guys are going to go through. I'm going to read it for you. This is a mock brand. So it means that this brand is non-existent, but we are pretending as if it exists. So if you are going to do a Google search, or if you are going to try to look for information about Single Punch, you are not going to get any because this brand does not exist in reality. We want you to put this brand into existence as a marketing practitioner. So all of the information that you need to get, the research that you are going to get, is going to be about your consumers, because this module is about how consumers make decisions, as I said at the beginning of the year. So read the following campaign brief and answer the questions that follow. Single Punch is an African traditionally distilled beverage made in South Africa, mainly for urban suburbs. The exquisite beverage is brewed from maize through finger millets, although finger millets and various fruits like banana peels can also be used. The process involves adding brewer's yeast together with carbohydrates, sources such as maize husks, to warm water and heating the mixture for a few minutes. Single Punch is then distilled after it has fully fermented. The alcohol content of Single Punch is 45%, and a Single Punch can drown away your sorrows. You guys are all familiar with beer, right?
Yes.
And for that matter, you are all familiar with how African traditional beer is made, right? In Zulu, I don't know in Ndebele, but it's called umqombothi.
Yes, sir.
Angel, have you ever heard about that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. And are you guys well familiar with alcohol percentage?
Yes.
Of umqombothi, sir, or just
In general.
Oh, in general, yes.
So if you guys drink, which percentage do you think can knock you down, alcohol content-wise?
45% is a bit much.
Because I think the normal beer is about 6%, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Then the percentage increases with whiskey or vodka. I don't drink myself, so I wouldn't know how the percentage works, but I normally read around these things. All right, so this is the challenge that you guys need to face. Remember, in marketing, we come across many challenges and we need to provide solutions to those challenges through strategy. So the challenge is that when you drive, never drink. So it's a message that Single Punch is passionate about, because responsible drinking is at the core of Single Punch. It may be a serious message, but that does not mean it cannot be shared in a funny way. Therefore, you are challenged to create a marketing campaign that will drive awareness and reward Single Punch youth customers for a responsible drinking. The budget for the campaign is between 1.5 million and 2 million rands. This budget excludes production costs. I'm going to repeat the challenge again, but remember, you guys are going to read this on your spare time when you are coming up with the presentation. When you drive, never drink. It's a message Single Punch is passionate about, because responsible drinking is at the core of Single Punch. It may be a serious message, but that does not mean it cannot be shared in a fun way. Therefore, you are challenged to create a marketing campaign that will drive awareness and reward Single Punch youth customers for responsible drinking. The budget for the campaign is between 1.5 million rands to 2 million rands, and this budget excludes production costs. So here, you are not directly selling a product, right?
Yes.
You are driving awareness related to the consumption of a product. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the same thing for Smirnoff users, be it Heineken users. The behavior that comes out of the consumers is linked to the brand, you know. That's why I've come across many campaigns from beer manufacturers, you know, encouraging responsible driving, responsible behavior, and stuff like that. Okay. Now, are there any questions about the challenge before we go to the questions?
No.
All right. So this is the tasks that you have been given. You have recently been employed as the new marketing strategist for Single Punch. You need to formulate a marketing strategy that will raise awareness in drunk driving and reward youth customers who drink responsibly. Conduct a thorough research that will inform your strategy and answer the following questions. Remember, guys, all these questions, you are going to answer them in 5 minutes. You are only given 5 minutes to present at flow. Okay. So the first question, it will be sort of an action plan for your presentation. So when you start presenting, you need to introduce yourself. You need to introduce your strategy by providing a summary of the given brief and briefly outline what you are going to cover in the presentation. So you tell us what is it that you want to achieve with your objectives, based on the given brief, the budget, and the target audience. Remember, the target audience is your youth, but not only youths drink alcohol. Strategy development. So that's part one of question one. Angel, did you say that there's nothing yet on core campus, right?
Yes, it's just the rubric.
Yeah, because I'm talking to the academic manager, and she sent me a screenshot saying that there's something on core campus, and I can't see it either. Please hold on a bit, guys. I just want to check the assignment here. Where are you seeing the rubric?
On modules.
Okay, I'm going to modules. I see this. F1 is P, week 14. Where exactly? Because I see there's FA2 sub brief, week 14, then week 15.
It's on the dashboard, actually.
Okay. On modules. I don't know what appears on your dashboard. On mine, can't see it. Because I want her to sort this out while she's online. And under assignments, are you seeing anything, Benton?
I'm only seeing the rubric.
That's very strange. You're saying that you're seeing the rubric on the... Okay, let's see, you sent something. Oh, it's under activities, right?
It's on the dashboard.
How do I download this image now? Because I need to send it to her.
It's also saying not available until the 16th of September.
Okay. Not available until when?
16th September.
Okay, I've just sent it to her. All right, we're continuing with question 1, which has got 2 parts. So you realize that there are 5 questions, and those questions have got 2 parts each, making all the tasks 10. Remember, unfortunately, I've seen with most of you guys, some of you guys, when I was marking that, there are some questions that you skipped in your assignment. With this one, you can't skip it because your strategy has to be complete. For example, you can't skip question 1 because at the end of the day, you need to introduce yourself. Then question 1.2, you need to identify the trends of drunk driving in South Africa. And the focus must be on the youths. So there's a lot happening out there with drunk driving, and I'm sure that you've come across information. You know, you've come across the statistics, the accidents that are happening out there. So you need to do a thorough research about drunk driving in South Africa, find out what causes road accidents, for example, or road rage and so on, or even insurance claims, you know. You must get road statistics from reliable sources. For example, there's SANRAL, there's Arrive Alive. Find out which provinces have many accidents. Is there a specific season for drunk driving? Is it during December or during Easter holidays or in winter? What about people being arrested for overspeeding or for being for driving under influence? You know, what about insurance claims and so on? So you need to tell us what is it that is happening out there in terms of behavior related to drinking. And when we say drunk driving, is it only caused by alcohol? What about someone who has just smoked, you know, be it marijuana or other substance abuse? Can it also be related? So you will find these, you know, trends in newspapers, online sources, and so forth, or even court cases. You then need to identify and discuss social and economic factors influencing drunk driving amongst the youth in South Africa. So what is it that is pushing the youth to drink? Is it because they've got too much money and they want to spend it on alcohol? Is it because of peer pressure, you know? Is it because the youth have got so many problems and they feel like, you know what, if I take 1 or 2, I'll relax? What is it? What are the economic and social? Remember, it's only economic and social factors. So you don't talk about governmental factors here, unless if there are aspects of governmental factors on economy or society. So on question 1, you are going to get 20 marks, 10 for 1.1 and 10 for 1.2. Are there any questions?
No.
Does it make sense so far?
Yes, makes sense.
Does it look challenging or it's very easy?
It's in
Let's talk about
between.
it.
Pardon?
It's
I
in
mean, let's
between.
talk about it.
Okay. So we have done reference groups, if you remember very well, and we have done social class. Do you remember that? Guys, so don't tell me the holiday, you know, wiped out everything in your brain.
No, I can still remember.
Okay. So in brief, you need to explain the role that reference groups play in the consumer drinking behavior. So here you are trying to show single punch that we can use this kind of a reference group to, change the behavior when consumers drink that alcohol. Or this kind of a reference group can be a bad influence on our customers. So describe reference groups and discuss their impact on consumer drinking behavior. You also need to identify 3 ways in which reference groups can be positively used to drive the drunk driving campaign. So how are you going to use social class or reference groups in order to improve responsible drinking? Are you going to partner with Uber drivers that whenever someone goes out to drink, they would rather request Uber instead of driving home? So I want to throw ideas at you guys, but these are the things that you need to think about. Do not copy existing campaigns out there. Using something that is original, or even if it's something that exists, contextualize it. Make it work for single punch. So you need to explain single punch positioning. Discuss the importance of analyzing the competitor's position and the position of single punch, and explain how this campaign can contribute to single punch's competitive advantage. So think about other beer companies out there, be it Smirnoff, be it Amarula, be it Castle Lite. If Single Punch is going to come up with a campaign that enhances responsible drinking, is it going to have a competitive advantage over competitors? Like, is the society going to love them for encouraging responsible drinking? Or they are actually going to become a society's enemy because now they want people to drink and enjoy beer in a certain way? Why can't it just be natural that whoever drinks enjoys, the drunkenness, can drive wherever they want, even when they are drunk or not? They can come home, be involved in violence and stuff like that. So you need to argue this. Then we are going to talk about segmentation, and it's also 20 marks. Before we go to question 3, are there any questions or any queries on question 2?
I just wanted to ask, so can you come up with like your own ideas on how you can make, I don't know how to explain it, but like how to help drunk people get home or things like
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
so none of these things, Angel, are going to come out of your textbook.
Okay.
This presentation is all about your ideas. What is it that Single Punch can do to encourage responsible drinking? So it's going to be purely your ideas. Now, once you have that idea, you're now linking it with what you have learned.
Okay.
So, for example, if you say that there's a certain way when someone is drunk, you are going to get them home without them being, a menace to society. You can use that as part of positioning. Positioning is a theory. You can use that as part of segmentation, So yes, the ideas must come from you guys. Then you need to benchmark that idea against the textbook. Did I make any sense, or I confused you further?
Makes sense.
Okay. So on segmentation, you need to provide 3 segments and highlight the importance of the given target audience in relation to Single Punch products. So as I said, this campaign targets the youths, right? But it is not only the youths who drink. So you need to provide other two segments, including the youths, making it three. So you need to tell us who else can consume single punch products other than the youths. Are they the baby boomers, your parents? Or are they the baby boomers are the senior citizens now, which are your grandparents. So are they the baby boomers, your grandparents? Or are they the middle age, your parents? So you need to provide the three segments. Or are they the teenagers, Because youths starts from 18 to 35. So do you think people who are below 18 drink?
Definitely.
14, 15, 16?
Yes.
So you need to provide the segments and justify why you are saying these people they've got their importance on single punch products. Then now, out of the three segments that you have provided, you need to select the segment for single punch and highlight the importance of the chosen segment. In addition, explain how the selected segment make decisions. So we are going to talk about consumer decisions, I think, in the next 3 or 4 weeks, how people make decisions. And remember, here the segment that should be selecting anyway is the youths, unless otherwise you want to motivate for another segment, you are allowed to do that. So once you have selected the segment on question 3.1, on question 3.2, you then create a segment for profile. So here, we are going to discuss this as well, but here you are just creating an ideal customer for single punch. So who is an ideal person who can consume single punch? Is that person determined by age? Is that person determined by marital status? Does that mean you drink more when you are single than when you are married, for example? Is that person determined by the income? Do you have to be employed in order to drink? Is that person determined by the physical location where they stay? Do you need to live in Soweto or to live in KZN or in Bombela to be a single punch consumer? So develop a segment profile for a typical single punch youth customer and provide justification for the persona you have created. On the segment profile, you provide 3 features of the segment you think is going to add value to your strategy. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So here you are just creating an ideal person. The same way someone will say, you have got an ideal partner in your mind, an ideal boyfriend or girlfriend. I want a girlfriend who doesn't do this. I want a girlfriend who is tall and who is thin, or who is yellow born, or who is dark chocolate. So you are creating a profile of a would-be girlfriend there. And you do not just say that you want someone who is yellow born or who is tall. You have got reasons why you want that kind of a person. So in marketing, we also have ideal customers. And you've got specific reasons why you'd want that ideal customer. For example, as a Huggies Pampers, your ideal customer has to be someone who has got a baby, right? Otherwise, if that person does not have a baby, how are they going to consume Huggies Pampers? Unless if they are guardians or one or the other, they are taking care of, someone who consumes those products. So this is the same exercise. You guys need to give us an ideal youth consumer who is going to consume these products. And we realize that in reality, alcoholic brands do not make it public who their ideal customers are. That's why you never come across a drunk person on an advertisement for beer, right?
Yeah.
But we have seen brands like Smirnoff or brands like Castle Lite having specific people on their adverts. For example, if it's a youth, it means that that's the target that they want to send the message to. If it's an old Madonna, that's the target that they want to send a message to. So once you have introduced your presentation on question 1, and once you have done the trends of drunk driving on question 2, and once you have done segmentation, like you have grouped people according to their characteristics and their needs, and you are able to say, this is one that I select. Now you come up with the strategy on question 4. So here is when you put your idea into action. Remember, Angel, you spoke about having an idea. That's where you put it here, because that idea will come in form of an objective. It is something that you want to achieve, you know. So you need to outline an objective of the marketing strategy and explain how it fits in within the key strategic messaging of when you drive, never drink. So here you tell us what happens if you are driving or if you are drinking. So it's either when you are driving, you are sober, or when you are drunk, you are not driving, right?
Yes.
So that's all the idea that we need to hear from you guys. So the objective can be in terms of a site, a mobile application, a software, or any activity you may think of that will raise responsible drinking awareness, deliver effective customer experience, and resonate with when you drive, never drink. So it can be a site, you know, whereby people can go to that site when they are going out to drink. And that site can alert their friends who are sober to come and pick them up, or, you know, whatever it is. Or it can be an application that when you are drunk, you should be able to tap on that application or to log in on that application to indicate that you are drunk. Then someone needs to take care of you. Or a software, you know, or a panic button that indicates, you know, guys, I'm not limiting the scope of your ideas here. It can be an activity, or Uber, or Bolt, you know, or having a whistle at bar, that when you're drunk, you just, you know, alert those who are not drunk that now you can't. But how can you do that when you are drunk? So you need to think something that is also practical, you know. Do not just come up with ideas that when you think about them yourself, you can actually see that this is not going to work. Then now you need to give 3 justifications of the idea that you came up with. So that's it about question 4.1. Are there any questions?
No.
All right. On part 2, you are now going to use the ABC model of attitude. You did that on top labs in your F2, if you remember. So use the idea that you have identified above, the objective that you have identified. So use the ABC to illustrate each point. So what is the affective component of this objective? What is the behavioral component of this objective? And what is the cognitive component of this idea? I don't know if I'm making any sense, guys. Do you remember the ABC model? Do you understand the language that I'm speaking, or I'm speaking in tongues?
We understand.
Okay, good. So now you need to explain how single punch can influence a change. Remember, here we want to drive awareness, which is a change. we want people to drink in a responsive manner, you know, because you know what happens when you guys are drunk. Even though people get drunk different, some you would never know that they are drunk, while some can even soil themselves. Some can take off their clothes. Some can get violent. Am I saying something that you guys resonate with?
Yes.
Benton, what do you do when you are drunk?
See, I hardly get drunk.
Pardon?
I hardly get drunk. Like when I'm drinking, like I just get maybe like tipsy a bit, and then I call it a day. I call it a night.
Okay, those who you drink with, have they ever told you how you behave when you're drunk? When you are
No,
tipsy?
no, they never. Because I don't act out of character. I feel like the people that usually get told how they behave is they those are just the ones that have no control over themselves, and then they wake up in the morning and they don't remember what happened.
Okay. Angel,
Yes.
what do you do when you are drunk? You speak unknown English.
No, I never get drunk, like ever.
Oh,
Allow
you guys,
myself.
what? Do you feel embarrassed with your actions when you are drunk?
Oh no.
Or you never get drunk? Continue. What do you do? Can you hear me, Angel?
Sorry, my mom was at the gate.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe my Wi-Fi is not working. Oh. Okay. But I've never heard someone saying that this is what happens when I'm drunk. But there are people who knows themselves, and sometimes they can even limit their intake because they know what they are capable of. You know, I've heard someone saying that no, I can't drink this one, or else I'm going to be crazy. So you need to come up. Guys, core campus has been updated, and I can see the assignment now. So the brief is now there. So it's the same with this one that I'm actually sharing with you guys on the screen. So now, if as an alcohol consumer, if you know what you do when you are drunk, think about how you can change your behavior. So this is the same concept that you guys are going to do. Then we now have question 5, which talks about marketing channels and budget. Are you guys okay with question 4? Coming up with an objective and saying how you're going to apply the ABC model.
Yes.
All right. Now we are going to ask you guys to tell us how you are going to use marketing channels to communicate your idea. So these are the steps that you come across in marketing. At first, you do research about the trends. What is it that is happening out there? That's your question 1. You know, you ask yourself, what is it that is happening out there? Then your question 2, In your question 2, what is it that you do, guys? In your question 2, you look at the reference groups and the social class, so you now know what is happening out there in terms of drunk driving or in terms of alcohol consumption in general. Then now you look at social class. What kind of societies are doing these things? Is this happening from lower class, upper class, middle class, and so forth? What is it that reference groups are doing in relation to what is happening out there? Then you segment your customers. You then divide your customers. It can be based on their age. It can be based on their income. It can be based on their personalities, It can be based on their lifestyle. Once you segment your customers, you then create a profile. You select a segment that works for you. You create a profile for that segment, saying that the person that I'm going to target is this one. Once you have done that, then you come up with an idea on how you're going to drive awareness or to change the consumption behavior on those people that you have selected. And when you are coming up with that idea, you must keep in mind of the trends that you have identified. You must keep in mind of the social class and the reference group and the segmentation that you have identified. Otherwise, if you do not consider that, your idea may be isolated. Once you have come up with an idea, you then ask yourself how you can influence change in consumers' attitude towards the brand and the product. Now, with that idea, the last stage, you need to communicate it. What channels are you going to use to communicate that? At the end of the day, you need to reach your customers. You need to expose that idea to your customers so that awareness is effective. So that's our question 5, marketing channel and budget. And you also need to know how much it's going to cost you in delivering that message. So discuss 5 ways in which marketing communication can be used to positively influence the attitude of your target market identified on your segmentation in question 3.1, and highlight the rewarding activities in terms of activation on the selected channel. So are you going to use Facebook, for example? And if you are going to use Facebook to communicate your idea, how are you going to reward customers? Are they going to have a voucher, that if they've got a good behavior, if they've not been drinking, they're actually going to get more fuel or whatever that they're going to get? So that's your question 5.1. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, it makes sense.
Because at the end of the day, a strategy has to be communicated. And now you are communicating that idea. Now you need to highlight all the costs for the marketing strategy that you created for Single Punch. So if you are going to use billboards, if you are going to use radio, whatever that you are going to use, remember, nothing is for mahala, There has to be a marketing spend. So you need to practically break down the 5 major costs for the marketing strategy, particularly the monies that are required when using marketing communicating channels. If you are going to use an app on your strategy, that app has to be developed, right? You need to get a developer. How much is it going to cost? A site, you need to get website developers, a software. You need to get software engineers or other related costs if it has got nothing to do with website. If you are going to use a celebrity, Casper Newfest need to be paid. So things like that. So you need to research how much media platforms like radio costs and how much apps cost to develop. In other words, whatever you choose to use, you must know how much it is going to realistically cost. There is information out there, guys. You can pick up a call or you can send a query on website at Ukhozi FM asking them how much a mere campaign can cost. You know, you can pretend to be a freelancer, telling them that I'm working on this campaign and I'd like to know how much this is going to cost. They are not going to deny you the amount that they charge. So you can use the layout of the table below. Remember, you have been given a budget of 1.5 million rands to 2 million rands. It means that everything that you are going to use here must not exceed 2 million rands. Yes, in marketing strategy, you are given budgets. And if you exceed budget, there always are motivations for the excess. Sometimes that excess can be rejected by the finance department or can be approved. So for example, if you are going to use an app, you know, you need to give the total amount of that app. So let's say if an app is 500,000 to develop, so you put there on total 500,000. Then what is the percentage out of the given budget? You say 500,000 out of 1.5 million. That's a third. Then you put a percentage there. That's how you calculate. So if it's going to cost half of the given budget, the percentage is going to be 50%. I don't know if I'm making any sense, guys.
Yes,
So
you are.
all the given percentages there must add out to 100. So realize maybe radio can be a quarter of your budget, can be 25% and stuff like that. Then here you put on the total spend. Remember, as I said, your budget must not exceed the one provided in the brief. If you are someone who's always struggling with budgets in your life, you are also going to struggle here. There are people, you know, you leave home with 50 rand, going to campus, all of a sudden, you know, you need to spend, let's say, 15 rands on transport. You need to buy a lunch for 30 rand. And then you realize that this lunch is not going to be enough. You buy a lunch that exceeds your budget. All of a sudden, you can't go home. So things like that. So that's it about question 5. Are there any queries or anything that you guys would like to raise?
No.
Okay. Then you've got these additional marks. The same way that we give you additional marks on assignments for referencing and stuff like that. So you are going to have 10 free marks that do not require your thinking. They just require your deeds, how you behave yourself. Then you get free 10 marks. Meaning if you get 40% on the presentation, you are guaranteed that you are going to pass if you get 10 free ones here, because these are free marks. It's up to you to decide whether you take them or not. For example, non-verbal cues, eye contact, and voice projection. You just need to make sure that whatever that you are saying, you are being heard during the presentation. There are people who are very good at whispering. All of a sudden, the judge, remember you're going to present in front of a team. The same way, you know, people like Somizi do at South Africa's Got Talent. So it's going to be like a sort of an audition. So you need to make sure that you are heard and that you are engaging with the people in your presence. You need to maintain eye contact. Just think about the way that I present to you guys when I'm lecturing, you know. Imagine if I were to talking to you, then I'm not looking at you. Or if I were to talk to you and I'm like, hey guys, the assignment is due. All of a sudden, like, say we can't hear you. Say we can't hear you, you know. The last thing that you expect to be told during the presentation is that please raise your voice, or please, you are too loud. Then content, you need to make sure that you have got enough content for your presentation. So there must be a balance between the stuff that you put there and the stuff that you are saying. Don't have too much content and don't have too little content. Don't talk too much. Remember, you're only going to have 5 minutes for this presentation. Think of a song. It's very less. Many songs last for less than 5 minutes, unless if you are listening to those Tonga songs, the ones that I love a lot. Then you must also show some levels of creativity. Creativity in terms of the idea that you are presenting, and also creativity in ways that you present, and creativity in your content, your slides. Your slides must not be boring, you know, but don't do too much. There are people who think they are being creative, but they are just overdoing things. Then there also have to be some form of engagement, you know. Engage with the audience. Then, of course, we need professional presentation and conduct. What is it that you are wearing? Is it presentable? You know, how are you communicating? Are you using slang language? There are people who are busy presenting. All of a sudden they are swearing, fuck, this and that, if you get what I mean. You know, be mindful of the professional language that you use, you know, and also some of your body movements. Remember, there are people who like walking around when they are presenting. Make sure that whatever that you are doing is not offensive. And I always tell students not to complicate things. Use the presentation tools that you understand, that are easy to use, but you can still be creative in that. But if you go out there, you go and get complicated presentation softwares, you know, all of a sudden you are using Prezi or whatever that you are using, and you are stuck during the presentation, you are going to be marked against that. So use a tool that you are going to understand. Any questions on additional marks and presentation skills? Okay, your silence means that everything is okay, right?
Yes.
All right. So that's the 110 marks that you guys need for this presentation. Remember, it's an individual presentation. It's not a group work. So I want you guys to do this assignment individually. Otherwise, if you do in groups and I realize that there's been collusion, you are going to be disqualified. So you are only going to be given 5 minutes to talk through your presentation. You have to be as quick as possible. Otherwise, you are going to submit the hard copy, the electronic copy on Core Campus. That's where you are going to put all your information there, including your name and surname, your campus, and everything that needs to be there, so that I can be able to identify you. Remember, Core Campus is used by all students, not only you. Students from Pretoria and students from Durban. So you need to make sure that I can be able to identify you as my student. Then here, you know, your slides must not be more than 15 slides. So it has to be 15 or less. So you can just gauge them as 15 minutes. That does not mean you are going to present for 15 minutes. Here I'm talking about the slides. Okay. Ignore this on fonts and stuff like that, since it's not a written assignment. You know, you can ignore that one. But if you want to use that, it depends whether you're going to submit in Word or you are going to submit in a PDF file. All right, that's all about the assignment. And of course, there's a rubric here at the bottom, how marks are going to be allocated to each and every task that you guys are going to complete. Are there any questions about this assessment?
So you said we don't have to, when we submit, we have to submit in Word form.
Yes, when you submit, you are submitting in Word form. But when you are presenting in slides.
Or in Excel. Okay.
For example, you simply convert your PowerPoint into Word, something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? I know students have got a tendency of saying no questions. Then later, when it's near deadlines, people start bombarding me with questions. So I'm ready for that. If you come across something, you can let me know. You were saying something, Angel?
No, saying no more questions for me.
Okay, please let me know. Feel free to ask, because at the end of the day, I want you guys to master this assignment. I want you guys to pass. So if there's something that you do not understand, remember, I'll never give you the answers. But please try by all means. If you need some direction, then we can discuss that. At the end of the day, even if you do not pass this assessment, but you must be able to use, the same tactics and strategy when you are working. Okay.